Justin recently requested me on Patreon to review the original Star Wars movie, and now he's asked me to look at the sequel, The Empire Strikes Back. The first film was an excellent introduction to this world, and with the next adventure, the filmmakers successfully continue the story and do move the characters in significant ways. From start to finish, this is a terrific entertainment that also does a lot of daring things with the storytelling. Everyone involved did not seem interested in keeping the status quo, and instead showing even more the threat of the Empire and how they are not so easily defeated. I really like how the characters are explored and how their relationships have evolved since we last saw them blow up the Death Star. Although, interestingly enough, Luke does not share much screen time with Han and Leia. They are instead whisked off on their own storylines, with Darth Vader given even more screen time as he plots his move. All of these subplots are seamlessly combined, and it never feels like anyone gets shortchanged here. With Luke, we see someone who still feels he has a lot more to learn about being a Jedi, and it also gives us one of the best characters in the series with Yoda. He wonderfully alternates between playful and wise, and we also see someone still hurting from the fall of the Jedi so many years ago. His reluctance at training Luke is understandable, as he is all too familiar with his attitude and fears a repeat of what has happened before. A large amount of credit for Yoda's personality goes to Frank Oz, who gives a wonderful performance. His manipulation of the puppet leads to so many great facial expressions, both comical and more subtle. I love how Oz shows his change from this wacky troublemaker Luke meets in the swamp to wise mentor. And even though he's doing a slight variation on his Grover voice, he captures the seriousness of Yoda's words. George Lucas was so impressed with Frank Oz's performance as Yoda, he thought he deserved an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. And I absolutely agree with that. The romance between Han and Leia continues to be explored here, and their scenes together have a lot of spark to them, thanks to the performances by Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Lawrence Kasdan's contributions to the script. Their scenes nicely show the friction between them, but also their genuine affection. Even with this romantic subplot, though, they avoid making them too lovey-dovey, with Han's response to Leia's declaration of love very much in keeping with his character. Darth Vader also becomes a major presence in The Empire Strikes Back, even more than the first movie. You can almost sense his relief in not having to answer to Tarkin anymore as he walks through the ship giving orders. I like how this movie shows even more of the Imperial officers and their roles on the ship. We see their fear of Vader and what they know will happen if they disappoint him. There's almost a dark sense of humor to the scenes where officers fearfully go to Vader's quarters. Then you have his confrontation with Luke, which is one of the highlights in the movie. It's a brilliantly directed sequence on the part of Irving Kershner, providing a visually striking and exciting moment. Kershner did a fantastic job directing the entire film, and while I'm sure he was seen as a surprising choice to direct the Star Wars sequel, he more than handled the task of jumping into this world. I'm going to spoil something that has been known for 44 years now, so just a warning, but this movie reveals Darth Vader is Luke's father. The scene must have been a major shock back in 1980, although it's now one of the most well-known aspects of the character. In fact, before I even saw the Star Wars movies, I assumed this was revealed in the first movie and was surprised to find out Vader does not say, "I'm your father," until the end of the second one. Nonetheless, the build-up and revelation are masterfully done. Everything about the scene, from James Earl Jones' delivery to Mark Hamill's reaction to John Williams' music, is perfect. The Empire Strikes Back also introduces Lando Calrissian, whose shifting alliances are well played by Billy D. Williams. He brings a lot of charm to the role, and even when it's revealed that he's made a deal with Darth Vader, you can tell the way this decision plays on him. Lando is such a memorable aspect of the film, it's easy to forget he does not show up until 80 minutes in. With the special effects team experimenting and seeing if they could pull off the first film, you can sense with The Empire Strikes Back their confidence, and so it goes even bigger with the creatures and space scenes. We get more scenes with the Millennium Falcon flying through space and even through an asteroid field, along with new vehicles. I love the AT-ATs, which are so impractical with how slow they move, and it does not take long for the rebels to take them down, but there's such an inspired design. The new creatures, like the Tauntauns, also have a lot of charm and imagination to them. The special editions made some subtle changes, which I don't think distract from the film. I like the additions to Cloud City, and it makes sense to have Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor in his holographic conversation with Vader, although his dialogue was changed for some reason. The new pieces John Williams wrote for the movie are also terrific additions to the musical sound of Star Wars. My favorite track is Han Solo and the Princess, which complements Han and Leia so well. Yoda's theme also fits that character to a T, while the Imperial March captures the imposing threat of Darth Vader and the Empire. This movie made the daring choice to not have the rebels save the day in the end. Lucas knew there would be another movie after this, and it's also appropriate seeing as these movies are inspired by serials. There's now a concern about how the heroes are going to defeat the Empire, along with the lingering impact of Luke finding out who Darth Vader really is. The 3-year wait for the next movie and the constant speculation among fans must have been quite something in the early 80s. Overall, The Empire Strikes Back presented another excellent installment which successfully pushed the story forward, took the characters to new places, and added to the stakes in the Rebels' continuing battle against the Empire. Now let me know what you think of the movie in the comments, and thanks for the request, Justin.